April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and it's dedicated to educating people about the issue and how to prevent it from happening. So joining me today, we have licensed professional counselor Keisha Simmons to talk about education, prevention, and resources for sexual assault victims. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Bisky.
It's a sensitive topic, but we need to go ahead and put the definition out there of what sexual assault is.
Yeah, well, it's a violation of one's rights and privacy as it relates to sex.
And so it can be a physical interaction, and it can also be a mental.
Right, it can be physical or mental. Most importantly, what we encourage folks to do is understand the importance of consent, and respect, and having and establishing healthy relationships. We also, like to point out that sexual assault is not a women issue, right? It's an issue that affects all ages, gender, and background.
Right.
So, yeah, it's important to emphasize that part as well.
And being able to have that awareness and that education, because so many men, women, and children feel so uncomfortable and feel so isolated talking about what they've been through, that they may not seek out help and they may not seek out the support that they need.
Right, exactly. And that is why you want to encourage them to, that's where the hotlines really come into play, because the counselors on the hotline are skilled, they are trained experts in the field of, or in the topic, I should say, of sexual assault. So they'll know how to address the victim and get them the necessary help needed. So always, if you hear of someone, may have suffered from sexual assault or you suspect it, point them in the right direction of calling the hotline.
Right, because the hotline will, like you said, point them in the direction of the first step that they need to take.
Right. And it could be different depending on the assault. Each victim situation is different. And so those counselors on the hotline will have resources, local resources, that can point the victims in the right direction.
Why is it so important for us to have these open discussions, especially with teenagers?
To raise awareness, because sometimes victims suffer in silence. And so the more we talk about it, the more we establish a comfort in others coming forward and talking about it.
As a counselor, what have you seen when a patient reaches out to you and shares this information? What are your first steps?
Well, the first steps is, of course, establishing comfort. And then even I will encourage them, once I get them to stabilization, so to speak, mental health stabilization, I do the same thing I'm telling you to do. Same thing I tell community members to do. Call the hotline, reach out to the experts. In our community, we have Project Celebration. We have the Gingerbread House that focuses on children, and then they'll also service adults with special needs. But Project Celebration and the Gingerbread House are the two resources that we have here locally.
So we do have some really great resources locally that are always doing great work, being advocates, but also looking at the legal aspect as well.
Right. They will usher them into the legal aspect. Sometimes victims are afraid of reporting, and that's where counseling come in. That's where those support groups like Project Celebration and the Gingerbread House come in. Sometimes we have to get them to that comfort level of sharing.
Yeah, sharing and being able to move on with their life and see that there's still light beyond this.
Light beyond it, and it's a journey. It is a journey, but the first step is, or the most difficult part, I should say, is getting them the support, getting them to the support they need.
So meeting people where they're at and, delving into that realm with the comfort, and then having them reach out to the resources.
That's it.
Those are the beginning steps.
That's it.
Well, Keisha, thank you for joining us and educating us today.
Thank you for having me, Bisky.